a little silly. So looks like you're ready. Click here to start stream. Oh, go live. I'm live. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're live now. Woohoo! Right on. Boom. I'll give some people some time to join in. Oh. See, we got Jocknado. We have Sinist. MT the Doodle King, of course. Classic. Nick Productions. My man, the editor for the We're Not Safe Here Behind the Scenes documentary. We got Infamous Wolf. Trolastic. And yeah, that's who we have so far. Got 5 viewers in here. We'll see. Oh yeah, so happy Halloween, everyone. That's why I'm dressed as Woody for Toy Story. Clearly, I'm not just chilling at my computer dressed like this for nothing. I forgot I had this on. Yeah. But yeah, happy Halloween, everyone. You know, I love Halloween, love horror, always loved it. If any of you have been following me forever, you know, all the way back to my first short film I ever made was a horror film. And, you know, Nerf Gun Zombie Apocalypse and Attack, they're very popular videos on my YouTube channel. So that was always really cool to mix horror and Nerf together. And, you know, I think that's the good bridging the gap, going from Nerf was what I was known for to now horror has been the thing that I've been focusing on. Audio a bit delayed. Cool. Right on. Don't know what to do about that. I have no clue. Don't know why it's don't know why it's delayed. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. I'm not a streaming master. I make films. I'm not very good at live streaming. But yeah. Anyway, Cox has wood. Christopher Cox is Woody. Yeah. And I have facial hair. The Woody doesn't have facial hair, so I'm a stubbly Woody. I got a grizzled Woody. What else is dirty sounding? Hairy Woody. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, enough with the dick jokes. Yeah, welcome to the live Q&A of Abby's Monster. I'm probably going to be streaming for about a half hour or so. I'm here to answer all kinds of questions you guys have. I saw that in the chat. There was a good amount of people going, wait, what? And yeah, basically with Abby's Monster, this one definitely is the most, I guess, thick plot-wise and lore-wise. Like, there's definitely a lot packed into the story. It's very much not what it seems from the outset. You know, Don't Look Away is very straightforward. Sweet Dreams was very under the radar plot, but like you didn't really need to get it to get scared, I guess. And then We're Not Safe Here was pretty clear. This one has a lot of stuff hidden beneath and is going for more than just horror. It's definitely not just going to scare you. I think this one is the most detailed in terms of character, story, and emotion. I think this one not only goes for the scares, but also goes for some sad stuff. And then a different kind of fear. A big inspiration for this film was the works of Mike Flanagan, who has done Gerald's Game, the Haunting of Hill House series. I'm thinking of Midnight Club, but it's not. A Midnight Mass. There we go. He did 2 different shows that are titled Midnight, but they have nothing to do with each other. I don't know. And then Oculus, Ouija, the second one, the good one. So yeah, he's one of my favorite horror directors, and the way that he handles horror is that horror in his films are based on real human problems, real human trauma, very often sort of like guilt or something in our past that we're trying to run away from. Because in real life, things that really scare us is remembering horrific events, you know, PTSD, stuff like that. So in a Mike Flanagan film, you know, normally you would have a monster in the room. Oh, there's a monster. I see the monster. But in a Mike Flanagan film, that monster is actually someone you ran over 10 years ago when you were drunk driving, and they haunt you in your nightmares. So that's the difference of fear. So with Abby's Monster, the fear isn't an external scary monster necessarily. You know, all the time whenever there's like a creature or monster introduced in a horror film, it's like, oh, okay, I mean, I'm assuming it's here to kill me. That's the fear, right? Fear of death. Cool. But with this film, I wanted to give it a little bit of a twist. It's not exactly here to just, like, kill her or kill the daughter. It's here for something else, and that motivation is slowly discovered. And I think what is cool about this one, and why I was really happy when I was writing it, I was like, okay, I really want to make this one, is that the monster, in a weird, twisted way, is actually kind of helping. You know, the monster basically paints a perfect picture of here is where your life is going to go if you keep continuing this way. You are a single mom, you are struggling to raise your daughter, you are slowly losing that connection that every mother wants to have with their child, and this is what it's going to end up as. The worst fear any mother would have, which is they lose their child, essentially. Maybe not physically, like, oh, my child is dead, but like, my child wants nothing to do with me, and they grow up without me. That's horrible. And so that's what the main fear is in this film. It's not just fear of death. Initially, it's confusion and paranoia because, oh God, wait, why is there two daughters? What is going on? And then slowly, I think during that whole transformation scene where she transforms into a teenager and then the adult version, that's when it sort of paints the picture of the film. And then also with this film, I really wanted to give a strong character arc to Kimberly, the mom. I wanted the whole film to be centered on her and her journey, and give her a character flaw inherently right away. I mean, she's likable and she seems nice, but we can already get the sense that she's struggling and she isn't quite there for her daughter in the way that she should be, and she likely knows that, but is incapable of fixing it in some way. But by the end of the film, she stands her ground. She not only admits all of the fears that she's been having and finally communicates and stuff, but then faces this monster and defeats it. And yeah, I think that's sort of the whole main plot of the film and what I was going for. And of course, I highly encourage you to watch the film multiple times to get everything, because there's all kinds of cool stuff packed in there. But all right, enough about my introduction. Fire away with some questions. This is called a Q&A, not A or an S for speaking. Let's see. What do we got going on here? You should have gone as the Don't Look Away creature. Funny enough, I still have the original costume of the Don't Look Away creature. And it's really wacky. I just have it in a box in my closet. And I'm like, 30 million people have looked at this costume. Wow. Let's see. Are you still friends with anyone from the Nerf Gun Zombie Attack besides Camden and Ben and Brian from Zombie Apocalypse? Well, funny enough, it's actually only Camden from Zombie Attack that I still talk to semi-regularly. I haven't talked to Ben in a while. I haven't talked to Brian in a while. Any inspiration from Abby's Monster? The main inspiration would be Mike Flanagan films, and also Ari Aster. Ari Aster does similar things that Mike Flanagan does. Ari Aster just takes it to a darkly twisted way and actually makes it really messed up. It kind of reminds me of Cats in the Cradle. I've never heard of that. Would you ever do a short zombie movie? Maybe someday. I of course love zombie apocalypse stuff, zombie things. I don't know if it would be a short film though. I kind of think I would need to do a whole feature film to really get a zombie apocalypse right. When did you first come up with this idea and what inspired it? So the immediate inspiration for this film, I don't know where it's from. It's sort of one of those one sentence horror or scary stories that you find on Google and stuff. But there was one where a parent was tucking their child in at night, and then the child says, "There's a monster in my closet," or something like that. And the parent goes to the closet, opens the closet, and there's their child in the closet. And then that was it. That was the story. And I remembered reading that and thinking, oh, that's freaky. Okay, cool. So like We're Not Safe Here, like Don't Look Away, I sort of see or hear something that's a kernel of an idea, this initial introduction to a spooky thing, and I'm like, all right, I'm actually going to like form a whole story around that and take it beyond just that little introduction. That's just the introduction to the film. Where does that lead? Why is there two of the child? All of that. And then with this one, there's a lot more of like an underlying subtext story. You know, it's not just a parent tucking their daughter in at night. It's a struggling mom that is losing her daughter and a bunch of stuff. And the reason she decides to look for the monsters is because she feels guilty, because it's like, fine, okay, I'll do something before you go to bed. What was my favorite scene or part? Loco lighting. I think I really like, well, I mean, shot-wise, I love the twisting under the bed shots. Those are really fun. I also really like the shot where it goes behind Kimberly's head and it goes from teenager to adult. I thought that worked out really nicely. I really like the initial reveal of Abby under the bed, that initial boom. I think that hits really hard. Anyone who's going to watch the film has no idea that that's about to happen. And I think when you're imagining, okay, is there a monster actually in the room? And someone actually commented, is the mom the monster? I was like, oh, that's an interesting guess. But like, to me, the most interesting thing to see if you look under that bed is your daughter. And you're like, what? That to me is very captivating right away, and I think that's cool. But I think the moment that really hits me the hardest, and it was honestly the most important part of the film to me, it's the climax of the initial arc. Or it's hard to, I mean, it's not the climax, because the climax is smashing the lamp, but maybe that's the climax for action wise, but character arc wise, it is when she looks down and she sees her daughter with her hand on her foot, which is a reflection in the beginning of the film when she says goodnight, sweetie, and she kind of fiddles with her daughter's foot. It's like a little physical contact, like, oh, I can't really do much else, I'm kind of lacking in this department, but I love you. And that's all that her daughter can then do in that moment, because in that moment when Kimberly is admitting everything, she's crying, she's really, she is admitting so much guilt and remorse that she feels, and that's why she's been failing as a mother, and why a lot of people end up kind of failing and losing connection with their child, because they are hiding so much from them, and they feel so much guilt that just ends up pouring out, and you end up cutting off, you cut that initial personal relationship with someone if you're not letting them in. And obviously part of the reason why she's keeping that is because her daughter's 7 years old, so it's like, okay, will my daughter even understand these things? I don't even understand that, I don't want to admit it. But then you got a scary monster threatening you end up admitting it, and she thinks this is it, and the monster says it. She knows now she'll never forgive you, and that was her fear the whole time, which is why she never wanted to tell her. But in that moment, her daughter touches her foot as a sign of, it's okay, I forgive you, I'm here, I still love you. That's all she can do. She can't say anything, she can't help her, but that little touch, that's enough. And that's what then motivates Kimberly to turn back and face this monster and beat the hell out of it with a lamp. And that was that character arc that I really wanted to nail, and I think that moment worked out really nicely. And Mario Daniel Rodriguez, he did the music for this film. He was a composer. He nailed that moment. I told him from the beginning, music-wise, a music box is sort of our main through-line instrument, because it's a film in a little kid's bedroom, and the little kid's kind of one of the main characters. So it's like this weird innocence that then is twisted to darkness. And so a lot of the music boxes happening throughout the film. And that little moment there, it returns after being gone for a while. And that little soft no, blum, 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 blum. It's like, gets me. All right. What other questions we got? Zeke Melendez, will you eventually make long films similar to this film? My whole goal is to make feature films. I would love to make full-on, 2-hour movies, have them in theaters and stuff like that. And definitely, I mean, psychological horror is my favorite specific genre. Psychological to me is the scariest kind of horror, because it's in your head. It's messing with your mental state. Anytime I'm watching a horror movie and I realize I feel like I'm losing my mind, that's the scariest to me. And so yeah, I'm definitely gonna be doing more psychological horror, and I would love to do a feature film. Frost, I meant like James, Tessa, Anthony, Marina. Yeah, I mean, literally everyone in those movies I don't talk to anymore. So Nick Productions, what camera device did you use to achieve the under the bed shot? All right, so that was a complicated shot. What we got is we have a jib, which is a crane basically that allowed us to move the camera up and down smoothly in a single movement, like that, and that took up a lot of space. Then we also had a rotator rig where the camera is attached to this thing that then is able to turn it. I think it can actually do full 360 degrees. And so we have multiple moving parts that had to be in sync at the same time. We have Kimberly moving under the bed and being lined up with the shot properly. We have Jax moving the camera down using the jib, so it goes. We have Lakme, who was the assistant cinematographer, and she was in charge of not only keeping stuff in focus, but also rotating the camera. So we had all those things moving in sync and had to be nailed perfectly. And I don't know how many takes we did. We just kind of kept doing it back and forth until we got it right. But it was at least 10 tries. And of course, the final take was the one that was used in the film, because it was the one that got it. And it looked really nice. So music is amazing. Best part of the short film to me, MT the Doodle King. Thank you very much. That's Mario Daniel Rodriguez. Check him out. He is also going to be uploading all of the music to his YouTube channel and Spotify. We're going to get a official Abby's Monster soundtrack, motion picture score on Spotify. And so not only will they be split up into tracks, so you actually get to hear each of them separate and not, you know, with sound effects and dialogue and all that, but also he has a couple bonus tracks that weren't used in the film, or like alternate versions and stuff. So that's going to be out in, you know, a few days, a week, something like that. I'm not exactly sure the timing. But yeah, you can also check out his YouTube channel where he will be uploading all of the music and stuff probably in like a half hour. So he said he was gonna do it in like an hour after the film is out. So definitely check all of that out. Let's see. Tralactic, what was the most difficult part of shooting? I love the camera work in this film. Thank you. Most difficult part, oh boy. I mean, we definitely had a handful of shots that were really complicated. The under the bed shots, the going behind the head for the transformation, that was a complicated shot. And that shot ended up, we did not film it correctly. We definitely needed, I mean, the proper way you would do that shot where the camera's moving behind her head, you know, obviously you do two different takes. You have one take with the teenager going do, and then you go here, same movement, adult, do. But in order to actually get that perfect, you would need to have the camera automated, so it's actually getting the exact same movement each time. And you don't want your actress who's standing in front of the camera to move. And we failed on both of those accounts. Luckily though, Jax was just guessing the way he was moving the camera back and forth, and the first take actually of the second time, because the first with the teenager version, it doesn't really matter. That one's just like, okay, we're just getting the first half. But then really nailing that movement again for the second shot with the adult version, that's important, and keeping in the same kind of spot. And yeah, we did it a bunch of times, but the first time was the only one where the movement actually matched. But it worked. I just kind of added a mask and barely had to change much, and it worked out perfectly. So yeah. And then there was a couple times during filming where we were running out of time, and we had like several actors that needed to leave soon, so we were kind of just like hurrying to get stuff done and had to rush. Those were probably some difficult parts. Empty the Doodle King, this isn't that important of a question, but well, we're not safe, you're going to get a shirt. I really want to get one of those. So if you check under this live stream, you can see merch I have in the Teespring store. Got the posters for all my films. Abby's Monster is going to be uploaded there soon for posted you can get. And for a t-shirt, I could put the We're Not Safe Here poster on a t-shirt, so comment if you would like that. I don't know if I would actually make like a full-on designed t-shirt with, I don't really know what it would be, like part of the thumbnail maybe? I don't know. Like instead right now it would be just like the poster like this. So if you're interested in that, comment. I'll put it on there. So yeah. Purple X Tiger 9, your audio is in sync to the video. I apologize. I can't really do anything about that. Sorry. If one of your short films got a pitch for a film, which film would it be and why? If one of your short films got a pitch for a film. So are you saying if I were to pitch one of my short films to make it into a feature, what would it be? I'm a little confused. Infamous Wolf, go in and clarify that for me. Zeke Melendez, are you going to do signed posters like the last film, We're Not Safe Here? I probably will not. That ended up being very challenging, and shipping costs really blew up. I don't know if it was the pandemic or something, but that ended up costing like over $100 just to ship the posters, and that I can't really do that very often. So yeah, unfortunately not, but they will still be available on the Teespring store to buy. Loco Lighting, if there was anything that could be improved, what would you change or improve? Well, first of all, YouTube compression sucks. It looks the worst, I guess, in this film, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe because it's a relatively low lighting film that isn't in the dark, but like still kind of low lighting. YouTube compression really pixelates stuff, and especially with shadows, it really messes with it. And that's especially why Sweet Dreams, it was really hard to see it. You can see it fine if you're watching the actual file, but YouTube compresses the hell out of it. And to anyone who makes films, they know this. That's why they use Vimeo, because Vimeo does not compress stuff nearly as much, so films always look better. What I'm thinking of doing is actually for my website, I have links to all my films on my website, but they're the YouTube versions. I might upload them directly to the website, so that way you can watch the real versions of these films and not deal with the ugly compression that YouTube does. Other than that, there is definitely lessons that I have learned. I think this film was the biggest one that I was going for. I had a lot that I was going for it, and I think it was the one that I more quickly saw things that didn't go as well as I wanted them to. On the flip side, though, there were plenty of things where I think I got it and little surprises that I'm really happy about. But I think at this point it is like it's learning lesson. You know, I'm a independent filmmaker. I'm doing a lot of this on my own, so you know, to try and make every film a magnum opus and treat it as such and then be disappointed when one little thing goes wrong, that's not the way to do it. It's just everything's a learning lesson. So with this film, I mean, trying to think. Well, actually, one thing that I would have liked to have done is have another shot where Kimberly just kind of looks from the bed, the monster Abigail, down to see her real daughter under the bed. Just have a shot like from her perspective, just to kind of remind the audience, yes, what you saw is real. There is two of the daughters, all that, and also to have a shot where there's two of the daughters in the shot. But that would have been one of those shots where we would have to stitch it together. It was kind of complicated, didn't have time, and just ended up not including that. But if I could have done that, I would have. So, yeah. Ninja Fortnite Pro, how did you do the black eyes for Abby? That looks so real. Is it makeup? Nope, digital effects. I hired someone on Fiverr, and he did it, and then we added some more darkness to the face and kind of blurred it a bit to hide the features. And I think it's really freaky, that whole shot where you have her spilling her feelings out, she's crying, all this stuff, and then in the background, just freaky little girls like, ew. MT Jewel King, are your films on Vimeo? No, because Vimeo, if I were to upload even one of my films, I would have to pay for it, and that's why I have not uploaded them. Infamous Wolf, I mean, if one of your short films got a feature film, like going to the cinema to watch, which short film would it be and why? I don't necessarily know if I would have enough story to go on to turn Abby's Monster, We're Not Safe Here, Sweet Dreams, any of those into feature films. I think they work well as short films if I try and over-explain, because with a feature film you'd have to explain things. I think that ruins the fun. Don't Look Away would be the one in the real world, would probably be the most likely, because I could take it to a studio and go, hey, this is one of the most viewed horror films on YouTube of all time. I can turn it into a feature film. And that would be likely. And I have ideas to turn it into a feature, but it's not at the top of my list. I have other ideas that are fresh, new ideas that work better as feature films. I think usually, in my brain, it goes backwards. If I have an idea for a feature, then what I would do is make a short film version of like a couple of the scenes and then use that as the pitch. Going reverse way kind of doesn't work, because then I'm going with what I've already done and then I have to BS my way into making lore, and that's a lot harder to do. So if that answers your question. Tralactic, at the end, the mom should have pulled out a Nerf gun and the film would just do a 180 to an action-packed Nerf monster killer. Yes, that would have been jumping the shark for me, but yes, it would have been funny. Frost, do you remember any of Ben's Nerf videos besides the movie? Yes, I remember some of his films. I mean, the movie is the main one that I remember because I was in it. And I remembered he did other Nerf videos as well. I can't remember names, unfortunately. I think Therefore the Mercenary might have been one. Something. Loco Lighting, are you going to make a blooper reel soon? I might make a blooper reel. This one has a really funny blooper where she smashes with the lamp. So, of course, with that shot, we didn't actually have young Odette is the name of the actress who played Abigail. We did not actually have her on the bed, and we did not actually smash a lamp on her face. Instead, we had a mannequin head and a blonde wig. So for that shot where the lamp does make contact, that's the mannequin head. For that shot, we did it a bunch of times, and she wasn't exactly hitting the head. She was kind of hitting underneath it where there was just like bed. And I said, all right, for this one, hit the mannequin. Hit as hard as you can. And she went, ah! Oh no, I broke it right away. Like, she completely broke it. It just like broke character, and it was hilarious. We ended up having to get a new one, but that was the shot that was used in the film because it looked the most real, and it was hilarious. It was definitely worth the $30 or whatever for the lamp. But that was a really funny blooper. And also Ashley, who is behind the scenes person, she actually filmed that with her phone as well. So we have another angle of the funniest blooper of the film. So that one's really good. I think there's another funny blooper where when Rachel, the actress playing Kimberly, Kimberly, when she opens cabinet doors, she went and the door broke off. So she ended up breaking a couple things. It was funny. So I might make a blooper reel. If I did for this one, it would probably be pretty short. So yeah. What other questions we got? I'm going to scroll back and see if I missed some questions early on. What was my favorite shot in Abby's Monster from the real extras? It would be going under the bed shots, that initial reveal, going behind the head. Those are some fire shots. I like those. Oh, there's also a shot that is like, people don't think it's complicated, but it actually is. When she turns on the light and she slowly turns around to face the monster, and the camera goes and then rack focuses to her in the bed. That actually was a little tricky because we had to have her lined up so she's blocking young Abigail in the bed. And then as she turns around, we need the rack focus to work perfectly in time with Odette in the bed. And then Odette needs to say her line at the right time. It's all in one fluid movement. And I like that point, but that moment there, because, you know, so it's like, mommy, it's like, oh God, I don't want to turn around and what's going to be there. Turn on the light. All right, here we go. And then there's her daughter just sitting there. You didn't tuck me in. It's like, oh man, here we go. More of this. So I like that moment a lot. I'm going to check my phone because I'm feeling vibrations. Cool. A lot of stuff. All right. What other questions we got? Infamous Wolf, if you would make a film based on a game, what game would it be? Listen, Last of Us is already being made into a TV show, thank God. Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2. But those would probably be a TV show. Maybe the first one could be a movie. Second one, probably not. That would need to be a mini series or something. But Red Dead, great story. Love the story of that. Also, I could make a banging Left 4 Dead movie. I could do that. And Andrea's Matin, I probably butchered the pronunciation. Christopher, this is off topic. Do I remember correctly that your mom did work at shop where they sold Nerf guns? No, she never worked at a toy store where they sold Nerf guns. I don't know where you heard that. MC the Doodle King, how many short films do you think you'll finish next year? I'm going to be taking a break after this one because right now, in terms of my filmmaking career, I think I've hit a limit of what I am able to pull off on my own in terms of finances. And I think I need to just work on other people's sets and meet other people and just network and just get to know people and work in the film industry on sets that aren't mine. I think that is going to be really good, just learning how things work and stuff and seeing how other people do things. I think I've really maxed out what I am capable of doing right now. What I always was trying to do, I wanted to make a ton of horror films, and every time I tried to make one that was easier than the last one because the last one ended up being more difficult than I thought, and instead I always made it more difficult. And with Abby's Monster, I finally was like, all right, screw it. I actually am just going to go for the biggest I possibly can. I don't care if it costs $5,000. I'm going to do it. And there we go. All right, I did it. And that's kind of the limit I can hit at this point. I think I need to see other people do work now. And yeah, I did 3 horror short films in the span of about a year. Starting July was pre-production for Sweet Dreams. And then it was released in October. Then We're Not Safe Here began pre-production in January, released in May. And then this one began pre-production in July, released at Halloween. So yeah, three in a year. Boom, got my own little horror trilogy done. Frost, Chris, some of your Nerf guns are rare, like the rocket one. I think a lot of mine are rare now because they're not sold anymore. Especially the blue long shot. That one stopped being sold a long time ago because they turned into the yellow one. Hammer Kids, nice costume, Chris. Thank you. There's a snake in my boot. Don't know how I got in there. Hate snakes. Cool. All right, I'm going to end the stream soon. If you got any last minute questions, fire them away at me. Let me scroll back up, see if I missed anything. Tony Sueler Solis, Who's Bridget Mendler? I have no clue. Local lighting. Hi from Australia, Chris. G'day, mate. What else we got? Nick Productions. Yeet yeet. Yes, sir. Captain Redberry. Hey. Hey. Kaz. Yo, 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 Chris. Captain Redberry. What's the movie about? Go watch it. Infamous Wolf. Chris, has Panic been picked up yet? If not, would you make a season 2, and would it continue Sam, or would it follow someone else? So it has not been picked up yet. It is in what is famously referred to as development hell, because that's how it goes. Basically, it's just that we are kind of nobodies in the industry, and we need to make ourselves known. And so that just makes it more challenging to get a show picked up. But we've been working on it. And we're not going to make a season 2 for YouTube. We've definitely moved on from the Panic series. It is fully in the hands of getting it picked up. Nick Productions, will you still make horror films in the future? I would like to. I don't know when I will make another one. I will make another one when I believe I'm ready, because so far I believe I have gotten better with each film, and that was sort of what changed the trajectory of my ideas. When I made Sweet Dreams, my whole idea was like, I'm going to make a ton of horror films. I love this. And then We're Not Safe Here was, oh wow, I actually am getting better. People actually are really saying that. Cool, I'm feeling that. But at the same time, God, this is difficult. This is a lot. And, you know, it didn't get a lot of views, and that also affected my perspective, where it's like, I was really looking at this as, oh, I can keep making films on YouTube. That can be my path moving forward. But now I'm just kind of moving past YouTube. I really don't think YouTube is my future. I think it is really just getting into the real film industry and working with other people. Sticking with just me making films on YouTube with the small crews that I have, I don't think I will be able to really grow any more past Abby's Monster, because Abby's Monster truly was the one that I pushed the hardest for. But when I am ready again, definitely going to make more. Oh, Frost, what movie company you'll be in the set of, like Paramount or Universal Studios or other you like? I don't know if I'll be in big ones anytime soon. I'm just going to work on whatever I can. Hammer Kids. Oh, that's an interesting question. How many failed films have you attempted to make? I'm learning how to make films, and I've attempted hundreds, and only 2 have succeeded. I mean, define failed. I mean, also film, because I made a lot of crappy short films in college that I had to do in the span of a week, and I don't even consider them real films, so those don't really count. I definitely hated The Interrogation. That one, I felt that was a failure, but I finished it, and it's done, uploaded, but yeah, didn't like that one. I think my first real failure back in the day was an Left 4 Dead interactive game. I shot a bunch of that with people, and then never was able to finish it, and lost a lot of motivation for it, and never ended up really editing it. I didn't like the footage, and it was one of the earliest failures I remember, where I was trying to make something and it just did not work, and it hurt. And then of course I never got to start it, but Lockdown was technically a failure. It failed in the pre-production stages. Oh, Sabrina Twyla from Don't Look Away. Just wanted to say hi, and I'm so proud of how far you've come. Heck, I know I definitely wish we could go back and go full out now on Don't Look Away. And with all we know now, seriously killing it. Thank you, Sabrina. Yeah, Don't Look Away. It's fun, though, because, you know, Don't Look Away now is 7 years old, 7.5 years old. It's crazy. It's crazy. I made that film when I was 19 years old. Jeez Louise. Dang. Infamous Wolf, do you still read The Walking Dead, or do you watch The Walking Dead show? And what is your favorite zombie movie? The Walking Dead comics are done, and I was reading them live. I finished it live. It was crazy. It was awesome. And it was crazy because it wasn't announced it was ending. I was reading an issue, and suddenly I was like, wait a second. And then it said the end. And I was like, whoa. And it was crazy. The show, stopped watching it years ago. I do not like that show anymore. And then favorite zombie movie, 28 Weeks Later. The weeks later, not days later. I love 28 Weeks Later. I think that is such a crazy, insane, scary, action, thrilling horror film. So awesome. Frost, clarifying what kind of studios would I like to be in. I don't know. I mean, A24 is probably my favorite studio because they are a smaller independent studio that truly is pumping out amazing work. It seems like they really do just let the artists that they work with create. They don't try and dictate everything and manipulate it. I really respect A24 a lot. What was the budget from Panic? Frost said that. It varied episode to episode. Early episodes were like $50. Then they got to like 1,000 for the last couple of films, something like that. Or films, episodes. Gamer 100, what'd you think of New Halloween? I've not seen it. Last Halloween movie I saw was the 2018 one. I thought it was okay. It was all right. I think all of those movies and well, I did hear stuff about the new one actually did try and change the formula, and I heard people didn't like that, but I might actually like that because every slasher movie is the same now, so it's just kind of boring to me. But if you play around with the formula and actually do something different, then you have my attention. Tralactic, if you could meet one popular filmmaker or author, who would it be? Nolan's my favorite director of all time. It would be really cool to meet him. Tarantino would be a blast, probably just have a conversation with. He could talk about anything film related. Let's see. I would love to pick the brain of Ari Aster. He's got demented stuff in his head, and I just want to know where it came from. That seems cool. And of course, Mike Flanagan, very inspired by him, so it'd be really cool to sit down and talk to him. Greeny, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? I don't really know. I don't exactly. I think I've had such a strict view of what I wanted my future to be like for so long that I felt like I was actually cutting myself off from outside opportunities that life was giving me because it wasn't what I envisioned. And I think I've hit a point in my life now where I want to kind of go with the flow and actually let life lead me in directions and grow through that, because so far the way I've been trying to lead my life, at least mental state wise, has not been going well. So I think I'm not really hyper focused on where I am. I mean, I want to be happy in 5 years. I want to be happy. I want to be financially safe. I want to be comfortable with who I am and what I'm doing. I think in 5 years, I want to actually know what I really want to do. I think that is probably how I see myself in 5 years. Also, in 5 years, I hope I'm not freaking out that I'm 30. I hope that doesn't hit hard. Infamous Wolf, think Dawn of the Dead remake was good? Yes, it was. And really enjoyed 28 Days Later. That was a good movie. Yep, 28 Days Later is also good. You said you hired someone on Fiverr for the eyes. Can you send his link? Thanks, Joe Kralinson. Yes, the person who did that was Music for a Lag. Let me get a link. I don't know why his name is Music. He does VFX stuff as well. But here is the person who did that. Here's a link. Boop. There you go. Zeke Melendez, what do you think of making a comedy horror film? I think that is a really hard genre blend to do, because they're kind of polar opposites. And most comedy horror movies that I see are just comedies. They're not actually horror. They are comedies that take place in a horror environment. But to actually be legitimately scary and also legitimately hilarious is really hard to do. I think Shaun of the Dead is really funny, but I don't think it's scary. Zombieland, when I was younger, definitely scared me, but I think now probably wouldn't scare me. American Werewolf in London, kind of a good blend maybe, but a little tricky. I'm trying to think of other horror comedies that I like. Like Return of the Living Dead, Reanimator. You know, Reanimator is good because it's freaky. You're like, oh, there's all kinds of gross, freaky stuff going on, but I don't really think it's scary. So that's tricky, actually, nailing those genres together. Kimber 226 Films. Are you gonna upload more often? Nope. I've sort of talked about this earlier in the live stream, but I am kind of slowly taking a step back from YouTube and focusing on just more real world stuff and not trying to be in charge of my own projects as much now. I think I need to learn from other people. I have not watched Black Summer on Netflix. It's a good zombie series. Ooh. Frost, if you're in a movie studio, what would you rather be, a scriptwriter, actor, or the other things I don't know about? I would enjoy any of those. I don't really know what I would want specifically. If I was offered any of them, I don't really know what I would take. It would just depend. For acting, I think I would need the right role, because I think I need I'm a little out of practice, and I think acting is probably not my strongest suit as it once was. I do love writing. I would enjoy writing. I would also enjoy directing, especially if it's horror. So yeah, any of those would be awesome. Yeah. Cool. Right on. Well, Ryan Jones, just watch again. Explain what happened to the mother at the end. All right, so if you don't get what happened at the end, first of all, if you haven't seen the film, go watch the film. I'm about to explain the ending. But the entire ending of the film is based on how we assume she's beating the hell out of the monster with the lamp. We think maybe she won, maybe she didn't. But Abby is scared as she's crawling out from the bed, and the music is sort of giving this ominous feeling like things aren't okay. And also, it's a horror film. Everyone watching a horror film knows that it's probably going to end with the dark twist. Oh no, the monster's still alive, or something like that. And that's what I wanted to build up with that anticipation, zooming around. Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm going to be here right now, all of that. And then it zooms in on her eye. And I was hoping that the audience would be assuming that when she opens her eyes, they will be black. And it's, oh, now the monster looks like her. Oh no. But instead, she opens her eyes and they're normal. And the music goes, boom. And it's like, oh, a horror film that ends positively. That's new. And yeah, that's essentially the ending of the film. And the hope that we have as the audience is that that was the wake-up call for Kimberly. That she is going to be there for her daughter now. And she has a clearer view of her life, a new appreciation for it. And is going to, she's going to be better off from now on, and her daughter will be as well. That is the hope. Okay, all right, last questions. Greeny, in future films, have you ever thought of exploring other genres outside of horror? Yes, definitely. I love action. Action's fun. You need a budget for that, and you need really good actors, and you need a lot of rehearsal time, but I would love to do action. Action's awesome. Other than that, maybe more just like drama. But if I did drama, it would kind of end up being more thriller drama. Just plain drama, I get a little bored. And fantasy. I like fantasy as well. And then for short films, I don't really know for short films. Excuse me. I don't really know what I would do for short films. But at least as a different genre. Thriller, something like that. I don't know. I've been enjoying horror lately. Cool. Right on. Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me for this live Q&A for Abby's Monster. Happy Halloween. Enjoy your Halloween times, whether you're going to a party, going trick-or-treating, hanging out with friends, watching horror movies by yourself, whatever you're doing. I hope you have a wonderful time, and I hope you enjoyed my horror film. And yes, thank you for watching and being here always. I'm going to go have fun with my friends and celebrate this awesome Halloween and celebrate that my film is done. It's out. It's finished. Woohoo. Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.